Guys, welcome to the second session. Yeah, it's a good turnout again. So super excited to kick it off. As a quick introduction for those who are joining for the first time, you're in a good company. So there are a bunch of VCs here, a bunch of startups, a bunch of CMOs of corporates, content writers, editors. And today's session is led by me and Victor. Of course, Aman will be here as well to answer any questions. I've heard the first session was an extreme success, so super happy to have Aman here again. In terms of our background, we started actually initially as a CBD marketplace. We then pivoted into more like a health and wellness brand group with an agency we built, initially again only for consumer brands, but now we also do a fintech, SaaS, crypto, and a bunch of other clients of ours. If you can as you can see here, I have a natural resource degree, Aman a physics one, and Victor a nuclear physics one. So a perfect consumer marketing background, basically. So today's session is all about content. And next session is about the technical SEO parts and the backlinks. So to kick off, what should your SEO content look like, right? And before I go into that, let me do a quick poll. Very quickly, do you think your content strategy is working? So let me just pick the content. Okay, it's cool. So it was actually already there. Okay, so 20% are saying yes, 38% are saying not sure, 29% are not doing any SEO, and then 11% are saying no. Actually, 76% of you participated in this poll, so that's pretty cool. Second. Cool. All right. Perfect. So we obviously showed you a bunch of case studies last time, full company, etc. So we use different case studies this time. And so, okay, content strategy. And it basically starts with keywords. And what you want to do is to identify keywords which are relevant to your ideal customer profile, your ICP. And then you basically want to understand how difficult is it to rank for certain keywords and how much search volume there is behind a certain keyword. And of course, you want to basically pick the keyword which has the best balance of both, especially if your site is still young and you don't have a crazy good domain authority. Again, domain authority we discussed last time. It's basically the proxy, the synthetic proxy of how strong your domain is. And if you have a weak domain authority, you might want to start with keywords which have a lower keyword difficulty, and there might be not as much search volume yet. And then over time, you basically build up to also target keywords where there is a huge search volume, and you actually start ranking also for the keywords where there's huge search volume. So, and by the way, Victor will go super deep in a bit into basically a case study with full company, how we got them from 0 to 42,000 visitors in just 4 months, and how he basically picked the content plan, the keywords, and how he executed. But just a bit of theory initially here. So second poll, do you think you're targeting the right keywords? So let me just, 1 second. Okay, so I'm launching the second poll now. Awesome. 100% participation. Cool. So 28% of you said yes, you are targeting the right keywords. 14% said no, and 56% said not sure. In fact, some people now changed the answer. Slash a few more people just joined. But basically 55% of you are not sure whether they're targeting the right keyword, which is quite consistent with you're not sure if the SEO strategy is actually working for you. And then 30% is saying they are targeting the right keywords. Okay, that's cool. Right. So basically, the way you pick keywords, it's by choosing various clusters. And again, more about that in a second. But let's say, for example, we are writing about Amazon. So I can kind of jump straight into an example. Example is New Optima agency. We obviously do SEO, but we also have an Amazon services arm. And so one cluster is selling on Amazon. Okay. And so various keywords here are, is it worth selling on Amazon? How much does it cost to sell on Amazon? What are the tools to sell best on Amazon? Then the next cluster could be, for example, okay, what is related to Amazon? Again, other marketplaces, let's say Walmart. And then you start basically writing the same topics on Walmart, but then also, of course, mentioning maybe some stuff on Amazon and maybe also having cross links. And so you basically build up that kind of like matrix of various clusters. And each cluster, of course, then has individual blog posts, etc., etc., etc. So again, this is covered in a second by Victor. Okay, next poll, and then we're almost done with polls for a while, and then we kind of jump into a few cool examples. Okay, do you create keyword clusters? So, a second. Okay, so and that will give us an idea of also, I mean, we basically from last session, the feedback was amazing, but it was still, some people found it too advanced and some people found it basic. So these polls give us a really good understanding of how advanced and how technical we should do these sessions, and also plan really well for the next session. So far, 22% of you create keyword clusters, which is interesting, given that actually a much higher percentage did say that they are happy with their keyword research and their keyword targeting. 76% say they do not create any clusters. So again, Victor, maybe you want to also touch on that a bit more during your presentation. Cool. All right. So very quickly then, on what does a good content page look like, right? So some of you might know there's this thing called ETA, expertise, trust, authority. And so if you look at any of the pages we've created for New Optima or Alpha Green or any of the case studies you see, each of them has somebody at the end as an author. And the more authoritative this author is, the more authority the person has, and the more trust and the more expertise, the better in Google's eye the content is, right? So for example, this is a piece on, is selling on Amazon worth it? And Aman, as head of growth, is basically the author here. Of course, Aman didn't write this article. It was written by our content writer, or one of our content writers. But in Google's eyes, Aman has a much higher authority than somebody, for example, who doesn't have a super strong LinkedIn profile, for example, who doesn't post all the time about growth tactics, etc. And so we therefore pick Aman here. Another example is, for example, on the marketplace, it's an article about dosing for CBD. And so our author there is a girl who actually has a medical degree. She's actually a doctor in Ukraine. and she has some publications out there. So again, using that name adds credibility to that piece of content we wrote. Now, if you kind of look back at what else, right? So people also asked us, okay, should you, for example, give any unique content, unique spin to your content, right? So, and a unique spin could be, of course, an infographic. So as you can see here, every single page we have an infographic, and infographic can be basically a summary of some of the points mentioned already in the article, just more in bullets with maybe like a cartoon. It could also just be something like that. Here we have it slightly more scientific with kind of like some numbers and timing, etc. And here basically a table. So, and this is basically all really good stuff. If you, for example, say legal services is like a latest article we published on Neoptima, we also started to add videos to our content, and that video basically allows you to just stay much longer on the website. And that, again, covered in the fourth session is related to behavioral factors, and behavioral factors are things like how long do you stay on the site, and how long does a user stay on the site. And so basically, because we now have a video, the user will probably watch the video, not leaving the site, and then continue scrolling. And as you can see also, okay, of course, here again, like we don't say like every article has to have an author. You can kind of mix and match it. Of course, it's even better if that article would also have an author, but here the other thing we always have is FAQs. So it's like another summary, and I'm not sure if it actually will work right now, but if we say FBA aggregator, and you probably seen that example on the last session, but you can see obviously 4 ads, and then we rank #1 organically. But what's important is you see the FAQ section here is actually occupying some of that Google result, right? So this is why you want to have in your content piece an FAQ section, because if you're lucky, you not only rank on page 1, on #1 in Google and page 1, but your FAQ occupies some of that page 1 in Google as well, which means that other people will move down the side, and of course you remain longer in the visitor's eye, and therefore the click-through rate is probably going to be higher. So that's around content and how to create really much better content after you've done obviously the keyword research, etc. The other thing is around international content, and nowadays you have so many different tools to translate your content very quickly into another language. And in the past, Google would punish you for plagiarism if you would use Google Translate, for example, to translate your content. But actually, there is a site called DeepL.com. Their algorithm is actually superior to Google's when it comes to translating, and therefore Google doesn't actually punish the DeepL translated content. And also, obviously, there's a whole debate about should AI generated content be punished or not, and how do you determine whether it has been written by AI if you actually have a layer of human editing after that. So here, what we did with the marketplace, and that's basically also what we did now with Neoptima, is that once we publish German content, and whoever, if somebody is right now in Germany or whatever in the UK, you can basically Google Indica Wirkung. Wirkung in German is effect. Okay, so how does a cannabis indica strain affects you? Okay, and so as you can see, that right now, that article, which is in German, and by the way, this is another thing we use usually, and we recommend to use one domain and then have a slash. And basically, if you want to expand in a different country, rather than creating a new domain, you can use the existing domain and then basically have a multi-language function there to expand into other countries. As you can see, the A, which leverages now the domain authority of the UK version of the site to go into the German kind of search ranking. As you can see, if I look at, if I look at how we started, right? So we published this page in February, the 13th of February, 2022. And so it started to rank on page 7 in Google. And then it basically started going up, right? And it started going up because obviously it's a well-written site. We researched it really well. Again, Victor will discuss it in a second, but we basically, of course, before we write a site, after we've done the keyword ranking, research stuff around volume, keyword difficulty, etc., we identify the 5 best sites for that specific search query and write a much better site than any of the best 5 ranked sites. And so over time, you can see how we now are on page 2 in Google, which position 15. So the first 10 or first 9 positions are usually page 1. And then position 10 to 19, for example, is page 2. So, and this is how the site moves up the Google ranking. And so the cool thing is, once you have a lot of English content, all you need to do is make your site functional and then translate all the content using DeepL. And then if you want later, you can have a German editor or whatever, French editor or whatever, going through it and basically edit it to make it even sound even more perfect. But for Google, again, it doesn't actually matter. Like, they will already index you, they will already rank you, and you can already test a new market with the content you've written. And of course, you can then also tell your investors, hey, we're now in 11 different countries or whatever. So that's basically some of the content case study. Cool. So now passing on to Victor, who can tell you actually in much more detail than me how to do cluster research. And so cool, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and then Victor, you can share your screen. Wait,
you need to make me a host. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, one second. Okay. Cool.
So thank you, Alexei. Hello, everybody. My name is Victor, and I'm head of search engine optimization in a New Optima agency. I've been doing search engine optimization for like the last 15 years. And today I'm going to walk you through the whole process of creating keyword clusters. And let's start with a definition. What's keyword cluster? It's a group of keywords which are related to one specific search intent. Because to bring a lot of traffic to your website, you need to combine a lot of keywords in one cluster and create one perfect page, which will be relevant for all that keywords. And that's how you can rank for sometimes even more than 1,000 keywords with one page and get all that traffic to your piece of content to your website. Basically, to do keyword research, we have 2 different sources. First is keywords database, and second one is competitors research. Keywords database is Ahrefs or SEMrush or any other service like that. And I'll be using Ahrefs, just an example, but you can use SEMrush or whatever you like. And let's start with, there is like content keywords explorer in Ahrefs. And let's start with word spirulina, because I'll be using one of our current clients as an example, as a case study. And in this page, we can see general information about keyword spirulina. We see how hard it is to rank for that keyword, some statistics, some search volume. But what's there? We have mistake. Yeah, now it's better. So we have some general information about spirulina keyword, and we have in this section keyword ideas, a lot of information about keywords, which are contains the word spirulina and the questions about word spirulina. So if we will go and over there, like we have keyword, we have to analyze keywords at first. And on this screen, we can see there is almost 34,000 different keywords containing word spirulina. And then we need to go to questions and analyze questions, what people actually ask in Google to find some information about spirulina. What is spirulina? What is spirulina good for? What is blue spirulina and whatever. And on this page, you also can see keyword difficulty. It's like a mark how difficult will be to rank for that specific keyword for your website, and the volume. That volume is how much people looking for this keyword in a month. So, for example, this specific keyword, people are searching like almost 10,000 times a month, and for example, spirulina, people looking more than almost like 137,000 times a month. And why we do need to analyze keywords and questions, because we need to really understand what actually people looking for in Google. And because one thing is your idea, what people looking for, and another is real statistics. And to be successful in search engine optimization, you need to make a decision based on like real data. After that, you need to pick one topic. For example, I will pick topic spirulina brands, because this topic will probably bring much more relevant customers to our website compared to, for example, like spirulina side effects or how to grow spirulina at home, because people who interested in growing spirulina at home probably will not buy your product. So for example, spirulina brands, before that we had like 34,000 keywords, but now we have only 64 keywords, which contain word spirulina and the word brands. And we can also make like spirulina brand and find a little bit more keywords. So we pick a topic and find a lot of keywords which are related to similar topic, but that's not complete data, because we also need to go and find your competitors in a Google search. So you need to find the pages which are ranked already on the first page for this specific keywords. And in this example, you can see on the first position our client and our competitors, and you can just copy link to any competitor or any page, put into Ahrefs, and then go to overview. Wait a little bit, and then we can see that this page are ranked for 228 keywords already. And we can collect this data from any competitors. So we do keyword research based on our keyword database, and we do our keyword research based on competitors, and that data combined give us keyword cluster. And then some manual work will be needed, because we need to clear our keyword clusters from not relevant keywords. Sometimes you can find not relevant keywords when you're doing that. And then with that keyword cluster, you can create just a perfect piece of content. For example, we create that page on our client's website. And as you can see, we were able to rank on the first page, and not just on the first page, but first position for a lot of keywords. That's just an example from Google Search Console. So there are actually almost 1,000 different keywords for this single page. We publish that page somewhere over there. It takes some time and it takes some backlinks to publish to get this page to like mature stage where you just getting a lot of free traffic and it's stable because we already rank on the first position with that page. And for now, we on that single page is data again from Google Search Console. We got 5,000 unique visitors of free organic traffic from Google because people see us on the first page. And then imagine like you can repeat this kind of results like 100 times. So create 100 different pages, and that's basically what we did with full company. And that's the result. We can go and check organic traffic. We start work on that project around January, February. Then was like domain switch. And now we have almost 43,000 visitors a month, which are going like every day from search engines. We were able to rank for 17,000 keywords in total, and almost 2,500 on the first page. And that's like traffic and keywords is pretty abstract data, but let's go like to real data is traffic value. What traffic value is estimated amount of money you need to spend in other marketing channels to get the same traffic from, for example, Google Ads or Facebook. And basically what we have here is we are getting $38,000 in traffic value every month just from Google search for free. So that's like a cool thing about search engine optimization, because if it's done right, you will create a lot of landing pages which will work for you every day and will bring you more and more traffic every day. And if it's done right, it continues to grow like as much as you continue to work on that. So that's the result. Feel free to ask any questions. We will have a Q&A, and I'll pass to Alexei again. Thank you for your attention.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Victor. Okay, cool. Make me host again, please. Yeah, awesome. All right. And then also back to our favorite activity. Let's do one more poll. 1 second. The poll is, how much content are you producing every month? Let me just watch it. Okay, so far, 65% of you are saying 0 to 5,000 words. And then 23% are 5,000 to 10,000 words per month. And 9% are 10,000 to 15,000. And only 2% are doing 15,000 to 20,000. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is basically, our basic package user starts with 16,000 words, but we usually recommend people to basically do at least 20,000 words a month. So that would put us into kind of the 2% bracket. Okay, and I basically talk about the reason why in a second. Cool. Yeah, very interesting. So I guess this section now is about how do you actually know if the content you're producing is working. And it's interesting to see the poll, because we actually recently got this PDF from HubSpot, and they basically said, and again, like people ask us, well, is more content better and more pages better? And the answer can't be clearer. So there is a huge correlation between the number of website pages and the traffic, right? And this is HubSpot data where they benchmarked 7,000 B2C and B2B businesses. If you look at somebody, again, like Farfetch, for example, Farfetch, and you go into, so they basically, just so you understand, Farfetch, domain authority 85, my internet is a bit slow. They basically have 25 million visitors every month. And if you look at how many pages they have 995,000 sites, so pages on their website, right? 945,704. So the clear answer is write more, do more pages, and you will get more traffic. Now, how do you actually know whether you get the traffic and whether what you're doing is working? So there are 3 indicators. The first one is pages being indexed. So actually you can write content, but if the content is wrongly written and wrongly structured, the page might not be even indexed. The second indicator is organic keyword indexing. So once the page is published, the Google algorithm starts indexing the keywords and therefore showing you for different search queries. And then finally, once you're shown for different search queries, depending on the search volume, you have obviously the traffic. And so going back to, for example, the, let's say, just to show you how it works in practice. We use our favorite example for company, but can be really any example. But what's really interesting there, so if we select organic traffic, and let's say just 1 year, and maybe organic pages as well, so you can really see that so there are these step changes, let's say maybe 6 months, these step changes. And so and the step changes is basically, so we've been working with them 4 months, and every time we publish something, there's like this step change. And then the organic traffic is kind of, has a lag and is more linear. I'm just thinking, where is
I think it's on top pages, Alexei.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. I'm on version 2. Cool.
Yeah, the keywords. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Cool. So yeah. So basically here you see same picture. So the step changes when we publish the content, and then you have in orange the traffic, but before that you have the keywords. And so you can see the keywords are basically slightly faster, or kind of like 100% correlation with the traffic, but like you can use that as an indicator to see, okay, is what you're publishing actually being indexed? Is what you're publishing indexed for the right keywords? And then do you actually see some of the traffic now coming to you? And what's also really, really important is a lot of the pages like here, we can clearly show that a lot of the content we wrote is equally distributed, right? So the top pages, it's not just it's a startup, right? They basically launched the website, 5 months ago, and they don't have any brand value as such. So therefore, their website is not ranking like top. Maybe if we take Rahman, like what's the best one to show where, for example, somebody has a great brand value, but very little content.
Ooh, hard question.
Maybe John Bonnet, actually. That's basically electric company,
Nice.
company we started working with. And when we actually pitched them the first time, they said, oh, we have so much traffic, we don't need SEO. And we said, look, guys, you only have so much traffic because you've done so much out of home marketing, and you had, you know, a lot of like radio and podcasts. And so you basically have 87% of your traffic is going to your main homepage, but actually you have very, very little SEO traffic. And so as you can see here, 87% is going to the homepage, and all the other pages are not really blog pages. And now I think we started with them 3 weeks ago. So we're seeing some of the posts we published being indexed and getting some of that traffic. But in short, I mean, if you look at them again, they do have traffic, 2.6 thousand, but it's mostly so as you can see here again, basically that's when we started a month ago, and already it's going up. So that's just in terms of how do you know if your content is working? You really want to track page index and keyword indexed. And then that brings us to ROI, which basically depending on your industry. So we just had a call with a vaping brand, and obviously vaping, where advertising on Facebook and Google is not permitted, similar to CBD, similar to gambling, similar to crypto, the ROI will be high if you spend a lot of money and you actually do it for a very long time. If you, however, go into, let's say, an industry where people do a lot of PPC and actually don't care as much about SEO. So for example, drinks, right? Like a lot of drinks companies focus on the offline channels. They want to work with Holland Berries, they want to work with Whole Foods. They don't spend a lot of time and money on SEO. So you can actually outrank your competitors really quickly. And so therefore your ROI is much, much higher, very, very fast. And yeah, basically you can track your ROI obviously also with the various indicators we discussed before. Cool. Very quickly, so before we move to one more panel, app poll and the Q&A session, Aman is gonna put the link to the type form. Again, we want your feedback. It helps us to improve our sessions, and it also improves just the topics for the next 2 sessions. And then while you're doing it, we've been very fortunate to work with a few amazing companies such as Claimer Seeders, Velocity, and Seed Legals. We actually use Seed Legals personally for sort of the first year when I raised kind of 1.1 million kind of, you know, pre-seed angel money. I didn't use any lawyers whatsoever, not for NDAs, not for option agreements, not for EIS. So Seed Legals was amazing. And then when I did the kind of like pre-seed kind of seed 2.4 last summer, we use Seed Legals again. I think Seed Legals struggle a bit sometimes with kind of Series A and later companies because the terms become a bit more complicated, but we still used them, and we still use them a lot for options, EIS, and a bunch of team management stuff. So really highly recommend them. Cool. Last poll for today, promise. Would you be interested in joining a Slack group? So a lot of you guys asked us, you know, is there some sort of community, is there some sort of like, you know, videos or summaries on the videos? We won't share it in the Slack community, or if we ever do a Slack community. So we're probably going to launch kind of a paid section, e-learning section on the site, where we will have the videos, just to obviously also encourage people to actually join the live sessions. But for now, just kind of still wondering if it makes sense to have a Slack group. So gonna launch this poll here. 1 second. All right, so would you be interested in joining a Slack group if we launch one.
If you also want a Discord group, just also say yes to that. I think if it's Slack or Discord, we don't really mind. It's just more like, do you want a group, I guess? Because I see a lot of people wanting Discord.
Yeah, and actually maybe even in the chat is it, yeah, Discord or WhatsApp, right? Like WhatsApp, Slack, Discord. Maybe we should do a quick next poll to understand what is best.
Yeah. Let me make one very quickly. Give me 1 second.
That's the one. Telegram, Signal, LinkedIn group. That's interesting as well. Right, cup up. Never heard of that. WeChat. MySpace.
Okay, yeah, so that poll was made when we're ready.
Okay, cool. So far 82% actually want a Slack group or group in general. So let's just do another poll.
Yeah, the question is, which platform would you want for a group? There we go.
Yeah, so which platform would you want for a group? Slack, Discord, WhatsApp, LinkedIn group. Oof, that's close. That's close. All right, so 54% prefer Slack, 27% Discord, and 27% WhatsApp, and actually 20% LinkedIn group. Yeah, interesting. Cool. All right, so stay tuned. We figure out something. Okay, awesome. So let's jump into the Q&A then. So there were amazing questions. Let me stop sharing my screen. And we can, yeah, jump into them. Okay, Aman, do you want to read them out? And like, we can basically take them in turns.
Yeah, I think we can. There are quite a few ones already actually answered that we probably should just say out loud. So, for example, let me ask Victor this question. So, is an FAQ content duplicative? Like, is it going to be and not a great user experience? Will Google penalize me for FAQ content?
So no, like that's not a duplicate content, because you need to add section which will add some value to your piece of content, and that should not be a duplicate page, duplicate information. So you should not like put some information from your like main content into FAQ. You need to, like, you've done an article, you need to think like a visitor. What questions may I have when I finish with this content, and answer that questions. And you can use Ahrefs to find more questions like that, because often we use that specific keywords questions what people actually ask in Google as an FAQ. So it will not be a duplicate content if you will done it right. And also, I need to answer maybe a few more questions. One is keyword density, keyword stuffing. It's like so to 2010, because we don't do that anymore, and you should not do that either. You should create content which will be first relevant for people, useful for people, and second, like be a good answer for every search query. So you don't need to worry about like pushing as much keywords as possible. And another important question was about content size. We saw a lot of situations when our clients had some experience before, and then they already create like a lot of content, but all that content is just too small or too low quality, and they are in that situation when they have done a lot of content, but that content is just not good enough to be on the first page. And all that content is just sitting on a third page in Google and nobody ever see it. So there is a way to waste a lot of time and a lot of money on a lot of content if your content is not good. So probably in one of the next sessions, we need to like talk a little bit about how to track your progress. But yeah, for now, I think I'm answered that question.
Awesome. Let me have a look at some other Q&As as we go along.
About SEMrush versus Ahrefs, because we have a lot of data on a lot of different websites, we can compare like Ahrefs, for example, traffic prediction to real one, because we have real one. And usually Ahrefs and SEMrush both doing a great job with showing real data. So just use what you like more. They are pretty equal on the technical side.
Maybe we can go into some detail on, say you found this keyword cluster and you have a bunch of keywords and you know what you're going after. How do you then know, or how do you then go about putting the content to the article? Does that make sense? Like you have a keyword list, you have a content plan. How are you going about finding the information that you need to do?
So yeah, good question. We basically have like a full guideline, which is like several pages to read for our internal content writers, how to do that. But long story short, you need to basically take at least like a few keywords you pick into that cluster and Google them and understand what you have on the first page already, because you just cannot outperform that pages with your piece of content if your piece of content will be much lower quality. So you need to understand, you need to really create content which will be better than content already on the first page, and there is no way around it. We definitely know that, because we put a lot of work to make our content great. We have like literally editors with scientific degrees for some clients, so there is a lot of work on the content side.
Awesome.
I think there's really a good one about how do you split your efforts between updating existing evergreen content versus, for example, new one.
Yeah, another interesting question. So you can kind of predict for single piece of content what you expect if you will execute that. For example, you have a keyword cluster with combined search volume for like 1,000 searches per month, and you already have piece of content which is not good enough to be on the first page, but you are already on the second page. And you know that if you will update that content and will move it from second page to the first page, probably you can see like 10x in traffic, because second page has much less traffic than the first page. And you will like compare what you will get from updating and from moving that piece of content from second page to the first one, or from new piece of content. And you need to understand like timing, because update and move old article from old page to a new one probably will be faster than get ranked new page. But it's also like you can take into account keyword difficulty, because sometimes you won't be able to rank with a much weaker website for keywords with a much more keyword difficulty. So it basically depends.
I think also on that point, so for example, we have this, we have a few lists on NewOptima, for example, FBA aggregators or whatever, SaaS aggregators, etc. And so we do update them maybe once in 3 months, because we see more names popping up. And so we actually generate more value for the reader to have always up-to-date lists on the site. And so we also know that other sites then copy our content, and to stay ahead of other sites who might have a higher domain authority than we do, having a more complete list and updated list actually gives us more value again for the reader, and that's why we do it as well.
Awesome. I think you've got a few questions about, okay, say someone watching this has started a new site completely, like it's, you know, fresh. They've just installed their WordPress. They have a couple of product pages up. What are the first steps they do SEO wise, like the most key ones right away, Victor?
You mean that question, like top 3 actions you would take with search engine optimization? If you have a WordPress, probably you can go straight to keyword research and content. But if you have some I don't know, build from scratch website or some frameworks, then you definitely need to go to analyze your technical side, and only after that start writing and publishing content. Because we literally had a case study just 2 weeks before we sign up a new client with a build from scratch website, and there was not so obvious mistake with canonical tag, and canonical tag on every page were pointing to a home page, and that small technical issue made whole website unable to index by Google. So it would be impossible to rank for a website with a problem like that. And we find all technical problems at the start. We solve it like immediately and then start writing the content. But if you have a WordPress, probably you should go to keywords cluster and write in the content straight away.
Awesome. I think let's keep away from technical now and say that for the technical session. But to finish it off, I mean, we spoke a bit about videos, and a couple of questions came in saying like, how important are infographics? How important are, you know, custom made or unique images on an optimized blog piece?
So basically, if you will add some infographics to your blog page or like content piece, you will add more value. And it's not only about like some tricks, like if you will put infographics, you will have like 10% increase in traffic. It's more about your page should bring some value. And if you are publishing page with a nice content and just stuffing it with stock images with smiling people, that really not adding any value to that page in terms of like user experience. And so you should use infographics if you could add some value to your piece of content with that.
Awesome. Okay, cool. I think we can cut it up there.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining again. And yeah, looking forward to see you next week. Good.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Bye, guys.